Hello everyone, this is Jess from Ethereal Essence. I'm back with another pick a card reading. This reading is going to be about what is your relationship dynamic. So what kind of dynamics are going on? What kind of strengths does this relationship have? What kind of weaknesses does it have? What are their feelings? What are your feelings? What are kind of the combined energies that you bring forward? And what is your external appearance to the world? What do they think? What other people kind of see you and think of you as? So go ahead and take a moment, meditate, and decide which deck you'd like to choose. Fast forward to the timestamp provided below in the description in the comments, and fast forward to that time so you can kind of take a peek at what your relationship dynamic is. And again, this can apply for relationship, romantic relationships, partnerships, friendships, all kinds of different things. So go ahead and fast forward to the timestamp below to kind of see what you get. So I'm going to start with group number 1. Guys aside. Okay, so group number 1, we have our bloodstone here. So we're going to take a peek at that. We'll put that right over here. So what is your relationship dynamic? So we're going to take a look here. Trying to organize things a little bit. There we go. Move these here, boop, boop. All right, so group number 1, hello and welcome. What is your relationship dynamic? Let's take a peek here, kind of get an idea of what's going on for you. So I'm going to flip over the first card. This is what the world thinks of you. Okay, so this is kind of what your exterior appearance seems like. So you're actually kind of a mysterious couple is what I'm kind of getting from here, or a mysterious relationship dynamic. They can't really tell what's going on with you. Are you in a relationship? Are you not in a relationship? Maybe you feel like you're kind of keeping this under wraps, but essentially the energy is contained. So the passion, the love, the energy is there, but I'm feeling like maybe there's like a little bit of secrecy in this relationship for whatever reason. If you have some, issues with maybe you don't want to share with family and friends yet, maybe you're still kind of figuring out what your relationship is. But initially, if somebody were to view you on the outside, it would be like, are they together? Are they not together? I don't really know. This might also be representative of like a friendship. Like maybe you have a friend and maybe people view you as like, they're like, are they together? Like they seem like they should be together. So if you're questioning this dynamic or this relationship, I'm seeing maybe you should take a peek at maybe making it a little bit more obvious, a little bit more public if you're ready to do that. And kind of get on the same level and the same page as the other person. So having this exterior dynamic will kind of conceal the relationship a little bit. But if you're ready to kind of take it to the next level, I would definitely implore you to kind of be a little bit more open, maybe holding hands, a little PDA. Or again, if it's a friendship, maybe people aren't really sure or entirely sure if you're friends. Or if you're kind of, or if you're friends with benefits or like what, but I'm seeing that there's just like this concealed lovers card. So maybe as well, like maybe there's one person that's like in love, but they're not really expressing it. Regardless, I feel like there's an aspect that's contained here. I'm really picking that up from this lovers card. So there's a contained emotion there. So I'm going to pop up. What are you feeling about this dynamic? Okay, so you appear to be a very sharp-minded, sharp-witted individual. You make things happen, and you make things happen quite quickly. You might be cool, calm, and collected, seem a little bit distant sometimes, but you're very smart and you're very intelligent. And you kind of feel like you kind of know what's going on with this dynamic. You feel like you're on top of your game. You're like, yeah, this is totally fine. I got this. I understand this. You kind of know what's going on a little bit. They're a little bit more in the dark here, but it could be them. They could very well be in love with you, and you're just kind of like, yeah, it's cool. I'm a Knight of Swords. I don't need nobody. Almost kind of a little bit independent, which is a really excellent quality. But keep in mind how that's playing into your dynamic with this person. So that's the kind of energy that you bring into the relationship. You bring a lot of mental stimulation. You bring a lot of intelligence. You bring a lot of witty conversations. I'm feeling like you're pretty sly, and I think that's a really great trait to have in a dynamic. Honestly, it keeps things interesting, and having your mind be sharp is really good for tackling conflicts and whatnot. So that's a 100% wonderful energy that you carry forward into the dynamic, your Knight of Swords. But you're definitely still working on yourself also. I'm kind of feeling like being a knight, you're not 100%, you're not in like the king territory yet, you're still working on it. But I'm seeing this mental kind of sharpness. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over theirs. Oh, wow, you guys are quite a dynamic. So this person's like, they're in the king. So maybe they kind of know a little bit more about finances. They know a little bit more about structure. And kind of making principles and following laws and rules. And they might be a little bit more resourceful as well. Whereas you might have the ideas, they can actually kind of like put it into action full forward. Not to say that you can't have ideas, but this person has the material abundance of being able to kind of pull everything together. Maybe they've had a lot of experience in this regard, but they're very wise and they're very intelligent, and they're they're maybe a little bit structured. And in that sense, sometimes when people are, wrapped up a lot in emotion, they kind of think of it quite logically. So what I'm kind of getting is your energy is very mental. Theirs is very practical. They're very, like, when they want something, they'll tell you. They might be like not terribly emotional. You might be a little bit more of the emotional one, being kind of like the action, the driving forward card. But I'm also seeing that their energy is quite grounded, quite rooted. You might feel very safe in this person's presence, which is a wonderful quality for any dynamic, really. So they're quite mature. So that's definitely what I'm getting from this one. So put that up there. We're going to take a peek at the strengths of your dynamic. Okay, so let's look at this. So we're going to turn over the strengths. So we're going to look at yours first. So you are, the sun. So you bring a lot of energy into the relationship. You kind of really make things happen. Again, playing into the Knight of Swords, you make action happen. Now, that's not necessarily to say that you have all the resources. This person really brings forward resources. But the sun, you make your things happen. You follow your dreams. You follow your heart. You do what's right. And the sun card is embodying literally the sun. You might be a fire sign or an air sign. It's kind of picking up from the swords, or the sun here being a fire sign. So I'm definitely seeing that you bring a lot of warmth, a lot of light. You make this person maybe feel very safe in their dynamic. But again, they're a little bit more like logical. You're a little bit more like, maybe a little more free-spirited than them, and they're a little bit more like, woohoo. But regardless, there's like a really gentle kind of internalized energy here. And I feel like maybe with this reverse lovers card, maybe you're both a very mysterious couple, or a mysterious friendship, or a mysterious dynamic. People don't really know what to make of you. But it's not to say that you're not in love. Maybe you're doing some internal work right now, and you're working a lot with yourself, which is what's going on here. And maybe seeing like the greater shifts in that personality dynamic. So going back down to the sun here, having this really beautiful, vibrant, fiery energy. So that is definitely the strength that you bring to the relationship. You move things forward, you push things forward, you bring a lot of light, a lot of warmth, a lot of reassurance into the dynamic, which is lovely and wonderful. So I'm going to turn over their strengths. The Tower reversed. Wow. So their strengths, they're rebuilding you. They're really allowing you to open up in maybe new ways of thinking. You may have been challenged in a lot of ways that mean you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But this person is helping you build up maybe some of the things in your past that may have caused you burden. This can also be reflecting of the reverse lovers card. Maybe you've had past relationships that were quite painful and quite worrisome. And this person is here to kind of help build you up. They have the structure. They have the resources. They are 100% ready to kind of help build you up. And you're so much like energy and so much fun and so much light and so much love that they're 100% willing to make the sacrifice for you in order to help you kind of rebuild the tower, the foundation of who you are. Because having this really fun and exciting energy is fantastic and great and really moves things forward. But having that structure to build upon is going to make all of your decisions, all of your choices a lot more wise and a lot more strong in that regard. So yes, they have this practical, logical mind state that might drive you a little bit crazy because they're so logical, and you're just like, how are you dealing with this? Because you're like bringing things forward, making things happen. Like, yes, this is the Knight of Swords. This is kind of like the James Bond sort of energy. They're like super double agents. They got it all figured out. But sometimes as well, that can kind of make for a little bit of a closed off mind state as well, because you're a little bit independent. So allowing this person to help you restructure a few things and being open to this is really going to help you move forward in this dynamic and to really help to kind of see things through. So we're going to go ahead and flip over the challenges of the relationship dynamic. So the challenges is sometimes they might be a little bit internalized. They don't really talk about their feelings all that much. They kind of keep it a little bit bottled up. And they might sometimes feel a little bit not recognized for the things that they do. I'm just going to have a sip of my water here. And they're not entirely sure of what role they need to play in your life. And essentially what I'm getting from the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands upright kind of represents being celebrated for your achievements, but reversed, it's kind of feeling a little bit stifled. So they sometimes might feel a little bit stifled, maybe not getting the recognition that they deserve. But that's okay, recognizing that is important. Making sure that this, like, not too independent, fiery energy is making sure to acknowledge this person. As well as maybe they need a little bit more reassurance than you realize that they actually need. So recognizing that just because they are this really strong and this really strong person that's willing to kind of build you up and allow you to feel strong, maybe they need a little bit more reassurance than you think, because you see them as like, oh wow, this person's got nothing wrong with them. Like, they're 100%, they are perfect, they are like well-rounded, but maybe they need to feel a little bit more acknowledged. Honestly, that's kind of what I am experiencing here and feeling in this card. But that's totally okay, and don't feel bad if that is the case. Just recognize that sometimes they don't ask for help. Sometimes they don't realize that they need it because maybe they've been more independent, but allowing your warmth to come in and reassure them is really going to help you guys move forward. So I think that's going to create a really healthy dynamic. Turning over your weaknesses, so Six of Wands. So what I'm getting with Six of Wands is you are a little bit chauvinistic, a little bit again, you need the spotlight on you. That's kind of what I'm getting from the Six of Wands. And the problem is with that is maybe that kind of leaves them feeling a little bit confused, because these are both Six of Wands reversed, which is hilarious. I can't believe you both got Six of Wands in your weaknesses. So you guys are really good together. You're really, really good together. But you have to acknowledge each other a little bit more. You have to really kind of, that's crazy. I'm sorry. That's kind of crazy. I just had to pause there. It was just so mind-blowing. Six of Wands being the recognition card. Maybe you're not feeling recognized and they're not feeling recognized, and maybe you're both too stubborn to budge and be like, no, I should get recognition. They shouldn't, they should know to give me recognition. No, sometimes you have to communicate what your needs are. And that's okay, and that's fine, and that's a beautiful, a beautiful dynamic. You both are working really hard in this relationship, and I feel like you need to give each other a little bit more credit. So even when you're in arguments or you're facing disputes and things like that, recognize that this person does bring a lot of really good things to the relationship. Acknowledge them for it. You know what? In the middle of an argument, pull that out of here. Recognize these aspects that you both bring to the relationship and bring it together. Be the one to stop and be like, you know what, baby, I love you. You are doing really great. I really care about you. Or if it's like a family relationship or dynamic, just give them that acknowledgement. Be like, you know what? I really appreciate what you do. And you reap what you sow. So the more you do that, the more they're going to do that. You're on even ground with that. So I'm feeling like you just feed really, really well into each other's energy. So just making sure that you are staying focused on creating that acknowledgement for them. And I feel like in return, if you need to have that dialogue around, you know what, I feel like I need more acknowledgement for this. I love you. I understand you need more acknowledgement too, because you're working really hard with me. So having that dialogue is going to help you move forward and allow them to kind of lift this kind of roadblock out of the way. And I think that's really fantastic because you're both really good together. That's definitely what I'm gauging. So I'm going to pop this over here. So we're going to take a peek at their feelings and your feelings. So their feelings, Queen of Cups, and your feelings. Let's just turn these over together. The Lovers. Oh, wow. So you are really passionate. You are really loving. I'm seeing this Lovers card come forward. You're like, I am so in love with this person, and that's such a beautiful thing. I'm so happy that you're experiencing that emotion. I think that's a really great dynamic to have, honestly. The Lovers card is embodying passion and care and love, and a little bit like intensity as well. So I feel like if you are in the honeymoon phase, it's going to be going on for a long time, if not a lifetime. I'm seeing that you really embody this fire energy, moving back to like the sun here, and the fire. I'm seeing maybe you're definitely like a fire or an air sign, or you definitely have a lot of fire air influence in your chart. But the Lovers represents you love this person so much, and I think it's so beautiful, and I think it's such a lovely dynamic, and I think you need to continue forward with this and hold that love in your heart and have faith and courage in that love, because I'm seeing that they're worried they're not giving you enough. They are very loving, they're very kind, they're very caring, and they're not sure. They're like, am I able to give this person the love that they deserve? Coming back to this questioning card, they're questioning themselves maybe more than you're questioning yourself. You're feeling like you're maybe not in the spotlight, but because you're more emotional than they are, I feel like they themselves, they're just not sure. They're a little worried because they're not really as in touch with this emotional side as you. I feel like you're like, yeah, I know what love is, I know what I want, and they're still working on it. And that's not to say that it can't work out. That's to say that it's a beautiful dynamic. They're still looking for direction in their emotional energy, in their emotional body. And that's going to be something that they're going to probably be working on for a little while you're kind of going through all of these, relationship balancing dynamics. And again, this could literally apply to any type of relationship. And Queen of Cups is a beautiful empathetic card, but again, they're still working on it. They're definitely still working on it, but they will get there. And you are kind of like, oh my gosh. Sometimes maybe you put them up on a pedestal a little bit, and maybe you have, a little bit more romanticized, ideals on love. But I feel overall you have good intention, and they have good intention. So what energy do you combine to make? Okay. So what I'm seeing here is you guys are a great team. You're going to be coming out of so many different types of conflict together. You're going to be able to face the world in ways that some people can't. And from that dynamic, you're going to be able to lift yourself from a lot of the mental constraints that you may have on yourself. And they can kind of almost lift any mental constraints that they have to. So you guys can work together to almost take off the blindfold and see things as they are. You're going to be a very realist couple in a lot of ways. That's not to say that you're not going to be able to have fun. You're going to have lots of fun. And you're going to really work well together, having this empathic energy and this Lover's energy in here. I'm seeing a lot of really positive influence. And I honestly feel like with the Two of Swords being introduced in here, you're going to be able to lift each other out of anxiety, out of depression, out of mental states. You lift each other up. You face conflict together. You can have these rational discussions. You might be a little bit more like flustery, a little bit more emotional. Other person might be a little bit more structured. But keep in mind that through this, you're going to create a balance, and you're going to be able to get through conflict, and you're going to be able to see through some of the cloudier days. And if you continue to work on this and you build each other up with the Six of Wands, build each other up. You guys are really strong. They're building you up on top of things, and you're providing the warmth. They bring the home, you bring the heat. They're the nurturing, kind of more grounded sign, and you bring the fire and the passion and the liveliness and the beauty, and all of this is going to create a beautiful dynamic. And yeah, again, this could be family, this could be friend. I am really picking up a romantic relationship here, or even this could be a paternal relationship too, with parents and things like that. Seeing that you're like, they're building you up. They built your home for you, and you've brought in this love and light into their life, but they're not entirely sure what way it's going. And they're really empathic and nurturing, but they're not sure if they're needed in your life anymore, and you bring in the love. It can mean multiple things. So take what really resonates with you and kind of move forward with that, because it's going to be so important in moving forward with this dynamic and understanding their needs and your needs, because there is a little bit of like I feel like there is a little bit of internalized energy here. So there's some things that aren't being expressed. So moving forward with that, you're going to really bring things forward, and you're going to really bring a lot of joy into this dynamic. I hope that helped. If you loved the video, please give it a thumbs up. Give me a comment. I'd love to hear what your feedback is. I always respond to comments, so I'm happy to hear from you guys. And yeah, subscribe for more if you like this kind of content. I'd be happy to do more for you. All right. Thank you so much, group number 1, and have a fantabulous rest of your day. We're moving on to group number 2. Hello, group number 2. How's it going? How's it hanging? What's happening? We're going to be talking about what is your relationship dynamic. This could be romantic, this could be paternal, this could be friendship, all sorts of different dynamics that could play a part. So we're going to just open up the cards here and see what you get. We're going to move that to the side there, add a nice collection, and we're going to put this down. Okay, so I like to flip these guys over one at a time so I don't get too overwhelmed with things. So we're going to pop up, what is your external appearance? What kind of dynamic do people see on the outside? Okay, so I think that people are seeing that this dynamic is really opening your eyes to a lot of things. Maybe you were kind of stuck in a place where you were feeling a little bit thwarted and questioning your choices, questioning your decisions, questioning your mental state. This could be them or you, but essentially, I'm seeing that this dynamic is allowing you to see things as they are. And you're coming through a lot of this space of confusion and just mental confusion, essentially. It's definitely mental. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Maybe you have anxiety, depression, mental disorders, or, just are feeling like a little bit scattered sometimes. And this is a general reading, so this can apply to many different people. So just kind of keep an open mind with that. So this relationship is taking off your veil, taking off your mask. But it is definitely a mental challenge for you. I'm seeing 100% it is mentally challenging you, and you're like, holy smokes, this is a lot of stuff. Maybe making you look at some of the deeper aspects of things. So we're going to go ahead and take a peek at their feelings. Oh, sorry, not their feelings, their energy. That's right, their energy. So they bring a lot of strength into the relationship dynamic. So maybe sometimes you're feeling really low and you're feeling really defeated. They definitely have this really strong energy around them that maybe makes you feel a little bit supportive and supported. In this dynamic as well, sometimes strength can represent strength of character, or it can represent strength of emotion, or many different things. Essentially, they come across as a really strong person. I feel like people really see that in them too. Like maybe they've been through a lot of stuff in their life, and they're just kind of like, you know what, they're pulling through, they're persevering, and it's impressive the things that they can move and the things that they can, be. Maybe they're your strength in times of darkness and times of confusion. But I am seeing 100% that they bring a lot of strength as an energy into the dynamic. I'm going to flip over yours, see what your energy is. The moon. Okay, so the moon, this could be a water sign, this could be a Cancer sign, and as what I'm picking up, the moon represents a lot of feminine energy. You might be very sensitive, you might be really connected with the divine, and really be intuitive and all of those amazing things. You might have incredible dreams. You're mystical, you're enchanted, you are incredible. And I'm seeing this energy as very powerful, and almost a little bit elusive as well, because the moon represents elusiveness. So kind of, sometimes being in the shadow, being in the dark, or just being a little bit mysterious in general. And I'm seeing that as a really positive energy. Not necessarily feminine. Feminine energy is represented by the moon, but you could just have a few more nurturing aspects to yourself and a little bit more, maternal, paternal type aspects to yourself that could be kind of creating this energy that's around you. You take care of people. You want to make sure they're okay. As well as I feel like you're in touch with the deeper sides of yourself, the deeper parts of yourself, which is beautiful. I'm going to pop over to their side again, and we're going to take a peek at their feelings. This is their energy. This is their feelings. So they're still a little bit, I'm feeling like they're a little bit, a little bit mentally new at kind of challenging their mind. They have a lot of strength. I'm getting this. But I'm also seeing that they're definitely working a lot of things mentally. And maybe they've gone through some setbacks. Again, what I'm getting from this is they've gone through some setbacks and it's really affected them. But I'm seeing the Page of Swords is like they're kind of starting fresh with their mental game, their mental, just kind of a lot of the things that they're working through. They're kind of having to start fresh. It's like a new page, a new chapter in their life, and they kind of might have still a few things to work on. So they might have a little bit of immaturity mentally. Sometimes they might have like upsets or be emotionally triggered by a lot of things, and they still definitely might be working on that. And sometimes they might be a little bit worried that this is going to kind of get in the way of their relationship. They're definitely worried. They want to start this new chapter with you, but at the same time, they're afraid. And I'm seeing that maybe your empathy and your energy is going to help them lift the veil of what they're going through, because I definitely see that they're still struggling. And that's okay. You know, everybody's got their own things going on, but they might still have that like mentally immature aspect. They might definitely need your wisdom, your moon, your kind of like groundedness and your empathy to move forward. I'm going to pop over your feelings here. Your Knight of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles representing sort of very slow-moving decisiveness. So you really know what's going on. You really need to take a peek at all the aspects and look at things logically and apply the resources that you have to almost assist this person. So you definitely have a lot of your shiznit together, and you're still working on it too, though. But you're a little bit further along than they are. So I feel as well that this is kind of like, I don't want to say, it's like a middle ground energy. So I'm seeing that perhaps you're still working materially on yourself and you're recognizing that there's a lot of things that you want to bring to the table. So this is just a separate energy from what they're going through, but I'm seeing that you're still creating your foundation and you're still being quite decisive and slow with some of the decisions that you're making because you're still trying to figure it out. But I got to tell you, trust your intuition. You are the Moon card. You have to go with it. Stop doubting yourself and move forward, because this Knight card sometimes can move a little bit slow. But I'm seeing that you can definitely push forward, so continue to do so. I'm going to take a peek at your strengths on top of this. 9 of Swords. So you have gotten up from some setbacks. So you have been through a lot of things. You've been through a lot of mentally challenging things, especially, which I think that you're going to really bring a lot of experience to this person because you've been through this. But the 9 of Swords is representative of kind of like persevering. So persevering and pushing forward. Being upside down might be like, it's this place is represented in the strength. So this is your strength. You're able to kind of get up after you've really fallen down. It's kind of what I'm getting from this. You're able to really deal with your stuff a little bit better. You've gone through this stuff. You understand what it's like. Help this person. If you're in a dynamic with them and you really care about them, use this advantage to help them in wisdom, but also use compassion. Use too much of this logic and this slow moving energy, they're going to be a little bit confused by this, but they are strong. They can take it. They're ready to grow. They're ready to be strong. So definitely the 9 of Swords, you've really been through some stuff and you persevered. You persevered and you got through it. And I'm really happy for you. I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy that you did that. Keep up the good work, honestly. You bring a lot of really good energy in with that experience that you have. Let's take a peek at their strengths. 6 of Pentacles. Okay. So they have a really good memory. That's essentially what I'm getting from this. They have a good memory, and they're really able to kind of pick up from the past. But this can also kind of be a weakness in itself. 6 of Pentacles sort of representing no, I totally forgot what 6 of Pentacles represents. Holy smokes. We all have our days, I guess. Let's take a peek. It just eluded me, so forgive me for my Okay, yeah, sorry, so sorry. Definitely kind of slipped my mind there. But they they as well have a conservative factor to them. So they kind of know how much they give and take. They're quite wise in that sense. Maybe you give a little bit too much where it's not warranted, where it's not needed. But I'm seeing that they have this ability to kind of disperse and create this energy that is balanced. So they're very generous, which is also a really excellent thing, but they know when to hold on to their things and to hold on to their mentality. So I feel like that's going to really complement your Knight of Pentacles. And moving forward, listen to these guys when it is time to face things that are of practical matter. You're still kind of working through some of the practical aspects, but consult them. They kind of know what's going on. They might be still working mentally on themselves, but I feel like materially, I feel like they have a little bit more resources, and they're kind of holding on to them a little bit. I'm seeing that they worked hard for them, and I also feel like this might be like you're about to share space with this person, or share kind of like material possessions. They might be holding back a little bit. They might not know how to share. They might not know how to share as well, but that's a strength because it really makes them conservative. It really helps them come together in ways that are productive and not overbearing and not overgiving. So I'm seeing that their strength is conservation, and your strength is just kind of allowing the mental the mental aspects to really allow you to help them. So some of the challenges you've been through will definitely help them. Some of the conservation or the material things that they have are really going to bring wisdom to your Knight of Pentacles as you're developing that sense of yourself. So we're going to move forward with weaknesses. Their weaknesses. Oh, they want everything to be fair. Sometimes there's a little bit of balance of power here. I'm seeing that they are kind of unsure of what fairness is per se, and they're not entirely sure what fairness means to them yet. So they want everything to be fair, but they're not entirely sure how to bring that balance. I'm seeing as well, with your experience and your wisdom mentally, you're going to help them bring balance. So don't be surprised if they come out of nowhere and try to create this argument or this particular conflict between you two, because they're trying to figure out, what are my boundaries? What is okay? What is not okay? What am I okay to bring into this relationship? What am I not okay to bring into this relationship? And they're still working on this aspect. So I'm seeing a lot of reversed energy, a lot of internalized work. You're kind of a little bit more externalized in some ways. But I'm seeing that with your wisdom and with your patience, see that they're still trying to balance things out. They might start fights for no reason because they think that maybe in the past they've had to deal with this stuff. Maybe, they've persevered through a lot of things and they still feel like they need to fight, which you have to just kind of bring that energy in and be like, you know what? No, it's okay. Doesn't need to happen. Just bringing that wisdom in. That's kind of what I'm getting for that one. Your weakness. You can be really emotionally closed off sometimes. You do have this beautiful moon energy, but sometimes you're unreachable. You can kind of come off as a little bit cold, a little bit sharp, a little bit jaded. Not to say that you're a bad person. You're a great person. You have a lot of empathy. You have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of power. And you have a lot of strength. But I'm seeing sometimes, just be aware of how this kind of internalized energy can affect this person. I'm not saying that you need to change any aspect of yourself. But while this person's working through some of the mental blockages that they have, some of these uncertainties mentally, allowing yourself to be a little bit more upright, Queen of Wands, a little bit more empathetic, is going to really help them. Sometimes with this practical aspect of you, you're like, you know what? No, they can just get over it. They can just deal with it because, I've been through shit and I know, I know that this isn't as bad as it gets. They can deal with it. But I'm seeing that this Queen of Wands is like, it's almost attaching you in some ways with this, with them as well. So they're like, they're questioning themselves already. So like closing yourself off when they're questioning themselves, even if you feel frustrated and maybe you feel like you're really not having a place in their relationship, that's okay. Like allow that balance to come through and allow that energy to come through and really allow them to see what is fair and what is just. But not before you've comforted them, because as the Queen of Wands coming through as well, you need to make sure you give them comfort before you give them this logical side, because they're still stuck mentally. I'm seeing they're strong, but they're stuck mentally. They're good with their finances, but they're still questioning themselves a lot, especially with maybe some of the mental things going on. Together, your dynamic, Queen of Pentacles. So with this Queen of Pentacles reversed, you're going to have a lot of fun together. You're going to really bring things together. But initially what I'm seeing is a little bit of chaos. That's not to say that you cannot work on it. But the Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles reversed, is just a little bit of confusion. Again, I'm kind of maybe picking up, maybe you're going to be living with this person. This Queen of Pentacles energy is kind of like, I'm not really sure what to do with my resources. Maybe some of these resources are being a little bit scattered. You both have really good energy and you have really great energy, but I'm seeing that maybe there's not a lot of cooperation on the aspect of logic. You're still working on it. You're still working on this more material aspect of yourself. They're still working on this mental aspect of themselves. So maybe you're not entirely sure which direction you're moving materially. And internally, I'm seeing this as an internal energy. So within the family, so within your dynamic, there's a little bit of confusion with the Queen of Pentacles in which direction you're moving. So I feel like in order to understand which direction you're moving, you really need to work on some of these aspects of yourself, so you can create this solid foundation. Because the Queen of Pentacles upside down is kind of like, I'm not really sure. I don't really know. You're having a hard time putting things forward, making decisions based on this. But it's because you have more work to do. And that's okay. You both bring good energies to the table, but I'm seeing this work is necessary in order to turn this upright. To turn this upright, here, boom, you get the Queen of Pentacles, which is extremely successful within immediate family. Queen of Cups with this your energy being very emotionally empathic and being receptive. And theirs being like being able to understand the balance of things and being able to understand what they need to fight over, what they don't need to fight over, and what they need to defend. As well as, turning this Page of Cups for them upright as well, so that they can be a little bit more cunning, a little bit more intelligent in some of the decisions that they're making mentally and some of the mental conflicts that they're having. Essentially, that's kind of all I'm getting for group number 2. I hope this reading was applicable for you. If you enjoyed the reading, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like some more. Howdy, group number 3. We're going to be doing another pick a card reading today for what is your relationship dynamic. This can be friendships, this can be relationships, romantic, family members, whatnot. I just kind of read what I see. So go ahead and take a peek and see what comes up for you. Okay, hi group number 3. We're going to take a peek at what is your relationship dynamic. So we're going to pop over to the very first card. So this is the exterior appearance of your dynamic. 9 of Cups. Okay, what is going on here? Nobody knows. I feel like I got this on group 1. They seem very mysterious. It's kind of elusive. I feel like you may be a flip-flop. Maybe you're really into this dynamic and then you're not, then you are, then you're not, then you are, and then you're not. I feel like there's like a lot of choices and decisions and just confusion. I feel like there's confusion here. You don't really know. What are you? What are you guys? And a lot of people see that too. They're like, oh, okay, what is going on here? I don't really know. But more so than the first deck, I'm seeing that I don't know if this is as you know what, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to see what else comes up, just so I don't miscommunicate the meaning of this card, because this is kind of a neutral card. It can go many ways. So I'm going to take a peek at your feelings. Death. So don't freak out. I know death card is kind of scary. Death represents you're going through transformation and change. So this is the energy that you're bringing forward into this relationship. You're going through a lot of stuff. You're rebirthing. And I feel like I completely understand where that's coming from with this, like, what are all these things, these confusion, the illusion. Maybe you're not 100% presenting who you are because you're still rebirthing. You're still, you're trying to figure out who you are. And that's a lot of really intense energy, and that's fine. But realize that there's sometimes a little bit of confusion in yourself as well as what you present to the other person in this rebirth process. I'll turn over their card. Page of Swords. Okay. So yeah, they're quite emotionally immature. I'm going to be totally honest straight off the bat. It's the energy they bring in. Is that really going to be good for you? I just want to say that you're going through a lot of stuff. And they might be a little bit mentally sharp, a little mentally witty. They might bring really good stimulating conversation, but I really don't like, giving people news like this, but I just really want you to think about it. Is this really going to be good for your death? Like your rebirth? Death and rebirth like signifies some of the deepest aspects of yourself. You are transforming yourself. Keep in mind of this dynamic. They might be a little bit impish. They might kind of drag you into things that you maybe don't want to be in, because you're still trying to go through a lot of this personal transformation. That takes a lot of mental energy, a lot of strength. You've gone through maybe loss or just some deep emotional things. Regardless, you're just like, you are working really hard to work through this. So be aware of their energy in this. I'm going to turn over theirs because I'm really curious. Okay, so what I'm sensing as well with this person, they might have a lot of really great ideas. They do. They might sound like they can smooth talk, they know what's going on. And you might be really intrigued by this and be like, okay, they're wanting to bring in this essence of, fiery rebirth. You're rebirthing. You're like the phoenix over here, and the phoenix, the promise of the fire. I'm sorry, the fire doesn't come. They have all these ideas. They don't put them into action. They might be like, oh yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do that, but there's nothing done about it. So right now, they're stuck in this place of inaction. Flipping over your deck here. Temperance. You are learning to balance your life. This person's over here creating like a wildfire of chaos. You're over here like, I just want to balance things. I want to like kill off one aspect of myself. Be reborn as somebody who is more balanced and more well-rounded. And I think that's a beautiful desire. But initially what I'm getting is there's just so much confusion in here. There's confusion because they're like, I want to do this, and they're not doing it. And you're like, what's going on? You're like trying to handle your own stuff over here, but you're almost being dragged over to their things because they're like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. But they don't go through with it. Straight up, that's kind of what I'm getting from that dynamic. Strength. Boom. Hanged Man. You're having a hard time with the Hanged Man. Seeing from their perspective, which is fantastic. You're developing your own perspective. You are bringing yourself from a place of helplessness and growing as a human being. I think that's incredible. I'm seeing a lot of growth here. So I'm really sorry for whatever you had to go through, because it must have been really tough. Just with the death card, I know it's tough. Whether it be an actual death or emotional or just an aspect of yourself, you are really brave and you're really wonderful. So be confident in this strength, this balance that you're creating within yourself. This other person, I'm honestly seeing they might confuse you. They might lead you to pass that end in ways that you don't expect. You are following a path. Have faith in that path. And if this person's leading you astray, then I don't really know how good they are for you. And I understand that this type of reading isn't necessarily the best, and it's sometimes really hard to hear. But if I'm totally wrong, do not apply this to your life. But if I am totally right, 100%. It's a general reading, so it doesn't apply for everyone, but I want you to follow your heart. I want you to really think about what you're going through right now. And if it applies, 100%, move forward with it. I'm going to look at their weaknesses. Their strengths. Get a little mixed up here. The world. Oh, okay, so they have a lot of, again, world reversed. They have a lot of dreams, aspirations, and wishes, but they don't really go for them. They do not go for them. Maybe you have this idea where maybe they're going to provide this thing for you. They're going to help you move forward. They're thwarting you. They are thwarting you from moving forward. And the world, like upside down, greatest, most beautiful card. But they're stopping themselves. They're thwarting themselves because they can't get this fire, this idea off the ground. And they're almost bleeding into your experience and into your healing. You're going through a lot of stuff, 100%. But I'm just 100% seeing this person isn't going to follow through because they're still confused. It's not to say that they're a bad person. I want to emphasize that. They're not necessarily a bad person, but they're confused. And they might be sending you mixed signals because they're confused. Okay? Also, take a look at some of the weaknesses that you might have in this dynamic. So I'm seeing that maybe this person is really showing you the more fun and exciting aspects of life. But you might be overindulging a little bit. I'm seeing maybe you're drinking too much or you're partying too much and you're maybe like not focusing on these deeper aspects of balance that you maybe once were. Be aware of substance abuse. Be aware of, celebrating in the things that aren't necessarily going to, facilitate this growth, because the Death and the Temperance represents emotional balance. Coming into this aspect of yourself that is more grounded and more even and less, I don't want to say less emotional, but more emotionally balanced. Substance. Stimulants, caffeine, drinking, marijuana, all kinds of things. This might be actually stopping your growth a little bit. Not to say you need to stop it, but just be aware that you have the celebratory side of you. Maybe you're focusing a little bit more on the fun side of things and not necessarily focusing so much on the growth that needs to happen. In order for you to even understand that this dynamic might not necessarily be one that is favorable for you. Keep in mind of that. Their weaknesses, Five of Swords, they're selfish. Because they're on their own journey and they're literally just figuring their stuff out. They're selfish. They might leave you in the dust. Selfish victories are short-lived, but they're on that path. They might not necessarily feel like they want to work as a team. Nor do they, feel like they want to dive into the deeper depths of you. And I feel like that's what you need to do. You need to take this time for yourself. Understand yourself. Stop jumping into superficial interactions, events, fun things, and really get to the core of the matter. And then you can resume this, no problem. But I'm feeling like this level of celebration, this level of excitement and movement forward is thwarting your growth because you're focused so much on celebrating than you are on creating this balance. And sometimes this balance requires solitude and silence. But you're like, I don't know if I want to give this part up. You'll be okay. You can come back to this. You just got to go through this. Together, your energies combined. The Emperor. A mismatch and misuse of powers. All sorts of thwarted energy. Maybe there might be like a power balance in this. Or there might be like, an instance where maybe somebody's overpowering the other person. They might be overpowering you. Or there's just a lot of confusion in this regard. The Emperor definitely representing that. Sending you all the love in the world, because I know sometimes people give, videos a thumbs down because it's things that they don't want to hear. If it's something that you don't want to hear, I'm sorry. But honestly, you are such a strong person. You have gone through so much. This person, you know what? You're so much better than this. I just want to say that you were so much better than whatever this is. They're not ready to connect with you on a deeper level. They want to party with you. They want to have fun with you. But they're not willing to look at the deeper aspects of themselves. Nor are they willing to take the initiative and assertiveness to move forward with you in this growth. I want you to surround yourself with people that are amazing, people that are beautiful, people that lift you up and support this new change that you're creating. I feel like this person, whether it be romantic relationship, family relationship, friendship, I feel like they're kind of like, maybe they're stuck in party mode. Maybe they're stuck in live it up mode. I don't have to grow up mode. Whereas you're like trying to actually do some serious growth here. And the Three of Cups represents, maybe you're kind of done with this phase of your life. This party, go out, have fun, forget all of the serious stuff. You're kind of ready. You're like, you know what? This part of my life needs to be done. And this illusion and this uncertainty can create a lot of excitement in a lot of ways, because there's like, what am I doing next? What's going on? What's happening? But it's not allowing you to do this more deeper growth. And by going through some of the more difficult things and the more painful things, you're going to come out on top, and you're going to be able to enjoy your life like you would not believe, in a way that is far more genuine, with connections that are far more genuine as well. So that's kind of all I'm getting for group number 3. I hope this reading was helpful for you, sending you mountains of love, because that was a little bit of a tough one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, give me a comment. I'm here to support you 100%. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, beautiful human being, and subscribe for more. Ta-ta.